So the Object 140, one of the oldest tier 10 medium tanks in this game, but does it still hold up to today's standards? I'm going to be going through everything you need to know about this vehicle, giving you a full rundown of all the stats, how it compares to some other vehicles, and then also following up with some uncherry-picked live gameplay at the end. So first things first, as with all my tank reviews, we're starting off with the equipment. Now there is really only one setup that you should be using with the 140, which is experimental HP. Even if it's tier 1, it still works because of the last field mod, but you will need the last field mod if you want to choose either tier 1 or tier 2. But preferably, if you do have it, tier 3, or you choose to have config. Now this is because the 140 adores being set on fire. The fuel tanks are right through the front of the tank, which I have done multiple times, and it's even now a running joke on the stream where I will go and say, oh look, it's a 140, I'm going to go and set him on fire, and then proceed to do so. So just like with the FV215B, you're going to need to have either experimental hardening or config, just to stop that from happening, because not even a fire extinguisher will save you from this happening. The reason being is that once the fire extinguisher is used, you can still then go and get set on fire again. Whereas with the experimental hardening and with the config, you are going to buff your fuel tank's durability, and it is less likely to even be damaged, let alone set alight. That being said, it can still happen, so I would recommend that you, if you can, then run firefighting crew, and even if you do have it, a directive, which is going to help you out even more. Especially if you don't have a firefighting crew, this is going to be very, very useful, because then it will train everyone to 100%. If you do already have a firefighting crew, then you can go ahead and put this directive on, and it will give you an extra 50% to the effectiveness of that skill. But I'm cheap, so I won't use one. Me. Oh, don't do that, Wargaming. Well, the Waffenträger event started, and I have now got a different garage. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the crew, shall we? Now, I won't be talking about like the in-depth stuff of what you should pick and all of this. If you want a full like crew guide, I have, I think I have even a few on the channel now at this point. So if you do want to watch that, then go ahead and watch them. But what I do have is concealment, and I have repairs, brothers in arms, the same kind of stuff, and it all combines to make a very, very complete package for the 140. One thing that I do want to note is that in the tech tree, and I'm going to try and incorporate this into every single tank guide that I make, I'm going to say when in the line it changes for the crew. So for example, the tier 5, it has a crew without a gunner, and then at tier 6, you then gain a gunner, and then at tier 7, you then lose the radio operator. And then from tier 7, it is the exact same all the way up into the tier 10. So obviously tier 5 and tier 6 is not really too much of a problem. You can go through them relatively quickly. You're not really going to be too kind of disappointed because it's relatively fast to go through. And from tier 7, you can then start training the crew, which you would like in your 140 at the end. Now for the field mods on this tank, the standard kind of stuff applies. You want to go left, right, and then left. The reason being with the left one here, instead of for camo, as you can see, I could choose camo right here, and then I get 37% camo, which is actually kind of insane. But at the same time, that reverse speed at 18 is abysmal for a medium tank. So you want to make sure you choose the left-hand field mod, or none, but I'd strongly recommend you choose the left-hand side one for the turbocharge tuning, where it will give you plus 2% to the reverse speed and then reduce your repair time as well. Now for number 7, this is also kind of a choice, because I've chosen the right hand field mod, which is going to give me more view range at detriment to my top speed. I would lose 2 kilometers an hour, but it still goes at 53. It's still fast enough, at least in my opinion. And gaining that extra view range is just going to be a little bit nicer to have. You could choose to have none, and that's completely fine. You'll be down to 450 meters view range with obviously your 55 top speed, which again is fine. I just wanted a little bit more view range. And then number 8 is where I was talking about at the start with the suspension durability. Because with this, if you choose tier 1 experimental hardening, you gain like 400-ish track health. And then with tier 2, you'll gain 422. And then obviously tier 3 is even greater than that. So the track health is still there, and it's still very, very good, but you gain the bonuses of everything else with the module durability and whatnot. Now, moving on to the armor layout for the 140, you'll see that it does have two quite prominent cupolas. The left-hand side one is a lot easier to hit than the right. It's not because there's like an extra bit of armor here, it's just the way it's shaped. Because obviously APCR and AP is going to be more annoying to deal with angled surfaces, because if you used heat, it doesn't really care too much. Like, that's a very, very tiny amount right there. But if we do use APCR, it goes all the way across as well. It's a little bit of a problem, but manageable. The real problem is when you play against heat and you have to go through the turret. And I don't know why it's so weak. It's about 280 millimeters thick, all the way down to 260, either side of the gun. It's very annoying. Another thing to consider is when you are face-hugging one of these, you can overmatch the hull armor, and it does come out quite far. You'll notice here, it goes all the way out up here on the upper hull and also the engine deck. You will be able to overmatch this with anything of 90 mil or greater. As you can see, it's only 30 millimeters thick, so if you do face-hug one of these things, keep that in mind. You can just go there and pen it. Although, let's be honest, if you're in a tier 10 and face-hugging this thing, you can just go straight for the front anyway and probably set it on fire. Now, you can semi-side scrape. I wouldn't really recommend it, but at the same time, you can block a lot of damage with your tracks. So you can potentially side scrape a bit. Just keep in mind that this is incredibly weak right below your gun on the upper hull here. So that is where a lot of people are going to hit, but the odd bounce now and again will happen if you do side scrape. Obviously, it's better to side scrape than to just not, but just keep that in mind. It is not some god of side scraping. And also, if you do get behind one of these things, you can HE pen it very reliably. 45 millimeters of HE pen would be needed for the very, very rear as it's sloping up, or go directly underneath. But be warned, there is just a random bar here which is 55 millimeters thick. So unless you have HE that is a lot more than 55 millimeters of pen, you're not really going to pen that. Anyway, I think we've spoken about this tank enough. Let's go and play some games. Okay, so for our first game, we're on Redshire, and we're going to go to the center-ish. What I would like to do is try and get into the middle kind of mound hill area in E34 region, and at least try and spot some people that are crossing. The good thing about the 140 is that it doesn't really care about what terrain it's going over. Even in very, very swampy environments, it will still go up to its top speed within a few kilometers an hour. But it's mostly decent enough to get there. Oh, hello. You're quite annoying. Oh, hello, Char. You're even more annoying than the 140. Although, if this guy peeks, he will get punished for it. So, yes, well done. What we need to be careful of is people peeking from that side. 283 has decided that he wants to be an aggressive TD. Or TD. Aggressive tank. Which is just a mistake. I want to now try and go up like this. 140 letting me down. I'm not too sure what his plan was, but it didn't work, whatever it was. So right now we need to be careful because I would like them to kind of push up a little bit, but they can't. Because if they try and push up too much, there's a Yag Tiger right here. And the Yag Tiger is a very, very annoying tank to deal with. Because he will just eat you alive. I'll be able to put one into this guy as he crosses. And make him a one-shot. I might even be able to put a second one in here. I can. And we just back off again. Try and put... I'm going to put one more in here. Okay. 140 gun letting me down a little bit again. Okay, he's not there. So let's now peek up here and see if we can get some spotting done. We have spotted many people. And we also didn't get spotted in return. So what I would like to do is just continue sitting up here, actually. Should all be absolutely fine. The char shouldn't be able to spot me as well. And at least here, we have decent enough camo. We still have... This is what I'm saying about, like, it making it a complete package. Because we have that 30% camo, or whatever it is. I need to be careful that I don't go too far forwards, but we have that 30-something percent, 31% camo, and then we still have the fill mod, which makes our repair speed good with that reverse speed. It's all combined together to be a very, very nice package overall. We do just need to be careful, though, that we don't get spotted by this 140, which he does, I think. Wait, he didn't? Alright, well, I'm going to put one into this guy as he's crossing, and then back off again. Because we need to start getting some damage in. If my team's not going to put the damage in, then I need to start putting it in. Don't quite get the shot on that guy, which is slightly annoying. But we still have people behind us, which is really, really good. Like this, for example. He pushed that. He then takes damage for it, which is fine. A little bit lacking of the gun depression. This T-54 should be able to put one into him, although he's probably going to die. Not die, but get a... Well, he might die for it, actually, yeah. We can kill him as well. Keep an eye on the minimap. We see the Leo PTAs pushing. Get him killed and get him out of the game. This 140 now is a big problem for me. But there's another 140 also behind me. So... yeah, I mean... Oh, this is not good. Go forwards here so we don't get shot by that guy. There's no saving this though. I mean, we tried. We tried our best, but I mean, what are we meant to do? We gave that team like all the information, and like this is what I mean. They can't really push across here because if they push across here, they have a Jagdtiger just crossfiring them, and all that this guy has to do at G1 is just sit there and do nothing. Until such time as he can then push. So it's, yeah. So yes, it's only 2.6, which is not a lot. For this tank, I want at least like 3.5 as like a bare minimum. Considering the game, I mean, even if we would have run away at that point, we would have probably only got maybe 1 or 2 more shots off. I don't know. Their team just was better. So, what do you want me to say? Like, we pushed into a crossfire on the castle. I said right at the start, like, I would like them to push in, but if they do that, then in a crossfire, and they can't. Anyway, let's go and play another game. Okay, so for our next game, we're on Prokhorovka. It is 2 artillery, and I don't really want to go to the hill, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to. Yeah. What do they have? I mean, they have a Phase 1 and a Conqueror, which is a lot better than what we have. We have a BZ-68 and a Malshan. Yes, I should definitely go to the hill and help out this BZ, because otherwise we're just going to lose the hill for literally nothing in return. So, our Malshan is going to the forest, by the way. Oh dear. Can we shoot this 907 on the move? I mean, we can, but... It's actually really annoying that I can't spot this guy. I don't think he's still there. Yes, he is. Okay. Well, the light tank's dead for the enemy team. There's still the 13105. But at least that light tank's dead. The 907 is now going to push into that dip. But to be completely honest... Wait, what is he doing? Yes, to be completely honest with you, he's not really too much of a threat, I guess. Because there's also a Concept 5 in the middle. Not in the middle, but in the corner over there. He's right here. Okay, game. Yes. We're going to have to just try and hold them off until such point as our team is ready to shoot them, I guess. The Concept 5 is very annoying in this position as well. I should really, like, ping the very corner bit and find out where he is, because he's going to be roughly there. And it's impossible to, like, miss him. Unfortunately now, though, we're dead. We are dead right here because there is nothing that we can realistically do. No. We just don't have the tanks for the hill. We tried to, you know, hold the hill. But honestly, this is just... I shouldn't have even bothered. What we should have done is just gone and camped. Camped the forest. And just pump shots into them. I mean, we should win this game, but that's not because of the play that we made. The play we made was not correct. But at the same time, I don't know what exactly we should have done, because the Manticore and the EBR went all the way down into basically their base. I mean, we're going to win either way, but like, this is the problem that you face, and this isn't just like with the 140, this is just in general. On this map. Do you go to the hill or do you not? Because at the time, we didn't have anybody where the WT is right now. If we had someone in this bush, where the Manticore just was, then it would have been fine. And we could have probably just camped the forest. And it would have been absolutely fine, because absolutely everybody would have been spotted as they came down. And everybody could have just farmed them. But then how do I know that everybody's going on the hill? You know, there's how many games have you gone and there have only been like 1 or 2 people on the hill because everyone else is just camping the forest. But it's impossible to like judge that. So it's probably better to go to the hill more times than it's not. But then when games like this happen, you're completely useless and it's a useless game for you. So yes, another absolutely thoroughly useless game. Very cool. If you're like, sub 2k is just pathetic in this tank. At least for me, okay? Like, you know, you can work out for yourself what is good or bad for you. But for me, I am not happy with anything less than 3.5, as I said in the last game. Right, well, I mean, I think you're seeing pretty much the 140 and its problems in 2023. It's a 320 alpha damage gun. I would have done basically more in every other tank. Like a STB-1 would have been 10 times better in that scenario. Even like a 121 would have been so much better in that scenario. Just being able to pump out the damage. The 140 is... You feel like you're firing a lot, and then you look at your damage, and you've done basically nothing. Well, let's hope that our third game can bring us some luck, because this has been a thoroughly depressing episode otherwise. Okay, so here we are on Ensk. And we're going to go all the way around to the right-hand side. The reason being, and the reason why I want to play the field, is that there is no arty. If there's arty on this map, you can't play the field. But if there isn't, then you can go all the way out here, use some bushes, and actually go hold down up on this ridgeline. So it is super, super nice in that regard. And also anybody that goes along there, obviously you're above them, it's going to be harder for them to pen you. So the only thing that you really need to watch out for is people that are onto the right here. Like so. We didn't even get spotted for that shot, which is quite impressive. It doesn't appear to be many people though. over this side. I'm guessing vast majority of them have gone to the city. Should really push this. .140 gun doing 140 gun things. Very nice. Okay. I mean, at least we're getting some spotting as well. Not too worried about what's behind us. There's a Jagdpanzer. That is not good. We need to be careful of that. I'm going to switch to heat here. Is the Jagdpanzer going to get a shot on me? I'm not sure. Interesting, thank you. I'm guessing we knocked out his gun. This Jagdpanzer is extremely annoying. I'm not going to pen that. Ugh, I can't even see this. Wow, this gun is incredibly derpy. We need to be very careful of this Jagdpanzer. He is looking over this way now. So I'm going to dip down into here. And let's hope that we can... We're never finding the shot on this 121B, are we? The gun just will not go straight. Come on. There we go. This could be a very expensive game for us. I don't think this guy spots me though. There's a TL7. I might be able to shoot him actually. Oh, this gun. This gun is, yes, very, very, very annoying. Man, it feels like I've been firing constantly and we just haven't hit anything. I have fired nearly, not nearly all my heat, but all of that for less than 2k damage. Painful experience. I mean, honestly, the one thing that I'm annoyed, well, not annoyed, but worried about is the Jagdpanzer. If this, can we get this guy out of the game, please? The Jagdpanzer is over there. I can't really push this because of the TL7. We're losing the city as well. Fun times, man. Oh. Did the 121B die? No. It's not completely awful. We're only roughly, yeah, we're only roughly 1k down. But we are 2 tanks down. So that is a problem. It's not even funny how much better the 121B is over this tank. But it's actually not funny. Like 350 heat, it has a better gun just in general. Yeah. I mean, what standard rounds does this get? I mean, it gets faster standard rounds than the 121B, but... Not to mention that 121B, you can just go straight through my turret. Doesn't even care. Like, my turret armor is nothing in comparison to what the 121B's turret is. I'm dead here now. Oh no, I'm not. I reload before this guy. Need to watch out for this TL7. TL7's pushed all the way down there. The problem is now this 121B. And I can't really outspot him or anything. Although he can't really outspot me either, because he's behind several bushes. So, I mean, maybe we can just go back. We just do this and just hope for the best, I guess. And judging from how the gun's been behaving, I don't trust that shot. I'm gonna get rid of this house. Get rid of the house. Problem is now he can, wait. How do you have shots on me? How do you spot me from that? Oh, I think I'm dead to the 121 then. Yeah. I mean, our city lost, so there's not a lot we can do. Man. It just sucks. Where would I be if I was the 121? Maybe in this bush here? Wait, he's not peeking? What? That doesn't make sense. That just got knocked over there. Yeah, one more shot in. That's fine. I mean, at least we had a decent enough game this time. Now we done the damage, at least. But... So yes, the 140. Is it still a good tank? No, not really. Why? There is no reason why I would play a 140 over a 121B. Even the 121, to be honest with you. Or even the STB. The STB is just leaps and bounds better than this tank. The 320 Alpha lets it down massively because you have to put so many shots in just to have a decent enough game. And not to mention that the 320 Alpha damage is a problem because you can't perma-track people like you used to be able to. If there was no track health buff with the HP boost and whatnot, or with field mods, then the 140 would be so much more viable. Because you have such a low reload time, you can then perma-track TDs, you can then perma-track slow heavies, and you can actually use the tank again. But since everything has so much health now, with the tracks, you can't do that. You can't perma-track someone like you used to be able to. And this reload time means basically nothing. I would rather have a little bit longer reload time for much nicer alpha damage than having this alpha damage with this reload time. Not to mention, it basically has no armor. It doesn't have, like, insane view range. And I just don't see where it falls into. Because even as that whole complete package, as I've spoke about, it still isn't as good as other tanks. Anyway, you have to let me know what you think about the 140 in the comments down below. Because I don't see how they would change this tank to make it good. And of course, I would love for them to just remove the stupid track health. right? Remove the stupid track health. Make it so that it's not just an idiot-proof module where you just go, oh, look, I can just YOLO forwards and no one can track me. I'd love for that to happen, but it's not really going to happen, is it? So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on what, we'll have a discussion of what maybe could be done for the 140. Obviously, nothing will get done unless Wargaming has plans to do it, but I think it does need a little bit of love. Because in the current state of the game, it's... I would say it's not even worth grinding for at the moment. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, then you're not to do. I'll see you all in the next video.